everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't talked about in a little bit of a long time, and why it is so hard to be a good captain of a team. And this is not like a direct shot at anyone, it's not like calling out anyone, it's not for anyone specific. I'm just talking generally with Nitro's leaderboards and how they can fix this and how team captains can better themselves. However, as you guys may know, we have this ongoing giveaway forum that's going on. Because there are 151 responses, we are going to randomly generate the first one, and that is 141. So let's go to our responses, type in 141, and we can get our winner, who is Pigwedgion. So yep, congratulations. Let's go to their account, and congrats, you have won $1 million. So without further ado, let's talk about why I believe it is so hard to be a good team captain. Now, firstly, I would like to touch on the sheer competitiveness of the leaderboards. Even to place within the top 10, say, you have to do probably over 3,000 races a day as a team, which equates to around 60 races a day per player. Now, some people will most definitely say that that's not a lot, but it is, and it does come down to perspective. For a team captain, one of their main jobs is to inspire racers to actually race and earn points for their team, but this is where kind of the pressure comes in for racing. Obviously, a lot of players on Nitro are kind of young, and they want to maintain their spot on a top team because obviously it's a top team and they get a lot of clout and reputation for being on such a team. And the struggle between a team captain and maintaining their stuff on the leaderboards is that these racers have to put up numbers because I believe, as Titanium Tendons has said in one of his recent videos, in order to get a team going, you can't do it by yourself. You have to have other people who are realistically helping you and getting you up to that point on a team. So with that being said, in order to be a team captain, you realistically have to encourage racers to race, but also really kind of pressure them with threatening to kick them. And this is not just like a random thing if you want to rank high on the leaderboards. And I know it sounds weird, but it makes sense because as a team captain, you have to cycle through people. If we can see on TBZ, the last person that somebody's raced realistically has been a day ago. Whereas somebody on my team, per se, who isn't as competitive, probably last raced around 2 weeks ago. And that's just how the leaderboards works. Obviously, the more active racers you have in a day, the more races you're going to get done, and therefore the higher your rank will be. It's not a team captain's fault that, you have to encourage your racers to race or threaten to kick them, or even bribe them with cash and stuff like that. It's just how Nitro and its leaderboards works. So basically, this causes a lot of problems. Sometimes people will feel pressure to race and put Nitro over other priorities in life, even if it's not a lot of races. Some people can procrastinate on that kind of stuff. And other things like that, just like external pressures from people on the team, captains, officers, stuff like that. And this isn't a direct shot at anybody, but just in general, you have to have your racers compete and race. And some people don't have that discipline to know when they don't want to race and when they cannot race. And that will cause them to firstly prioritize Nitro over other things, and then secondly considerably just race and race and race because they want to maintain this clout on the team and even win cash competitions. So this is the second thing that I wanted to talk about, which kind of takes it into a different turn, but I think is really relevant today, and this is botting. Especially with nowadays and just in general, botting is super nuanced because we don't really see the direct stats of somebody on a team. We never know if they're botting. They could be completely lying because we have seen ultimate amounts of activity who basically seem to not be botting in general, or at least it has been seen to do so, if that makes sense. Basically, if we look at somebody like Pandora, who does like a 7,000 session or has done a 7,000 session, like that is an example of somebody who is a legitimate person who has proven themselves to be legitimate time and time again, but aren't really different from what the top racers we see today. If we go to TBZ and we go to one of the top racers on the season and we look at Cruiser, this is like an example of somebody who has 2,000 levels, top 10 racer. And just that example, like, that's not hugely different from what Pandora did in amount activity, although Pandora's was probably much more strenuous considering that it was a 7,000 session. But just in general, the nuances of botting are so random and so confusing to most players, and specifically to all players nowadays, that it's hard to tell who is legitimate and who is fake. And that leads me into the point that a team captain can never perfectly display this kind of botting and monitor this botting in general. If somebody gets banned for botting, then you can obviously kick somebody off of their team, but the damage has been done. If somebody reveals that they have been botting, the damage has also been done to an extent, although a good team captain will recognize that and kick them. And there's not a fine line between botting and rewarding players who do well by keeping them on the team. Because at the end of the day, if you keep a botter on the team, you're seen as a villain. But if you keep a good racer on the team, you're seen as a great team captain. But sometimes you really don't know who is who. So this leads me into my final kind of big point that I wanted to make, and this is cash competitions. I do not have a problem with cash competitions to any extent, but I think it's another thing that kind of encourages people to grind to unhealthy extents for ultimately a game currency. I like what TBZ was doing by actually giving out cash, like real cash rather than Nightship cash. I like what Nate was doing with giving away gold. It's kind of just like a different value that actually provides, value to the racer rather than just Nightship cash, which they probably already have bought already from the shop and stuff like that, and they don't really have anything else to buy. This isn't really a shot at team captains, and I don't think it even really wraps into that, but I think just doing a cash competition in the short term is a good thing, but if you're basing an entire team off of cash, your racers are basically working towards something that will never benefit them other than maybe they get a cool car in the shop. I myself have hosted plenty of cash competitions, and so I am somewhat being a hypocrite while saying this, but I'd say don't have an influx of cash competitions because at the end of the day, if you want your racers to grind for something, you don't want to put them in a position where they're grinding hours and hours of their life for something that they really can't do anything with, such as net shed cash. I know this sounds weird and it doesn't really tie into the first 2 points, but I just thought it would be interesting to say. So let's talk about just in general a fix to this. Obviously, we have this current team leaderboards, and it's good. It's a good way of measuring who's the best team. You know, the Trailblazers are very clearly the best team. They're like probably, I think, 6 million plus 3 million. I think they're like 50% more active than PR2W. And then it looks like 40% more active than this deleted team, which I believe was ELR, something like that. No, it's something along those lines. But that's just what I wanted to talk about, how to reform these leaderboards. Now, we obviously see that we have the top 100 leaderboards. There's nothing wrong with the top 100 leaderboards. It's a good system, as I've said before. However, how can we fix this? The first thing that I would want to do is make it more so speed and accuracy based rather than races and points based. If we think about it, when Nitro brands teams as top teams, they brand them based on accuracy, or no, not accuracy, activity, rather than what the point of the site is, and that is to get faster. Somebody once said that Nitro wants you to get decently fast, and they don't want you to become the fastest typist in the game, which does make sense. I see how the top teams could influence somebody to play the game more and ultimately get faster to that extent. And in doing that, they'll probably buy gold or make some kind of revenue for Nitro Type as well. And so basically, it's a system that just works in general. However, it's also a system that is kind of damaging to Eraser. You know, these people that play this game are pretty young. It's a pretty young player base, and to have these top teams and to have these role models of the top racer, of somebody as a top racer, doing realistically 46,000 races in like a span of probably like 50 days, like 800, 900 races a day, is just kind of damaging to somebody who really does want to grind, because it sets up a bad example of, oh, if you want to be the best, you have to grind 800 races a day. The point of Nitro Type is not to play it as much as possible, which is what I'm trying to get at. I know it's really fun to look at the top teams and look at everything regarding that and see the fact that just in general, we have this amazing kind of aroma around the top teams, and just have a competitive player base. When the leaderboards were announced to be removed in October, people thought that would be the end of Nitro Type, the end of the Discord server. Obviously, that did not turn out to be true, but it just goes to show that competitive Nitro Type is something that a lot of people are invested in. Just in general, I think in the future, if I have one thing to say to people who are considering grinding and considering doing stuff like that, just don't do it. It's not worth it. At the end of the day, you're grinding a lot of races for something that won't really provide a lot of value to you, because you can achieve the same results by doing probably like tenfold less races. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works, but like 10 times less races. You get the point. So that is all I had to say today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Just, at the end of the day, team captain or not, we all have to kind of look at the Nitro Type leaderboards, think of what, we provide to it, think of what value it provides to us. Do we enjoy it? Do we not enjoy it? And then act upon that. I would say that a good team captain has the qualities of somebody who wants to lead the team, who wants to look out for the health of their racers, which I actually would say Titanium Tendons has done very nicely. I know you've said this before, that he never wants to encourage grinding to an extent where it would hurt a racer as it did him, if that makes sense. And I'm sure Wildfire feels the same way. I'm sure Volatile feels the same way. I'm sure I Like Cheeseburger feels the same way. Everybody like that, I'm sure they feel the same way as well. So at the end of the day, good team captain or not, you should know your limits, and your team captain should definitely try to know their limits. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching today. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to link to fill out the form in the description. Obviously it's pretty quick and pretty easy, and we already had somebody who won. So thanks so much, everyone, for watching today. I hope you have an amazing day, and peace out.